These types of weapons could possibly replace completely tactical nuclear weapons over the next few years. And today, we're going to be looking at the very latest US Thermobaric bomb, the highly effective and deadly BLU-118/B. Most conventional explosives today consist of a fuel oxidizer mix, often being a ratio of 1 part explosive fuel to 3 part oxidizer in order to trigger the ignition process effectively. Thermobaric weapons are almost 100% fuel. Therefore, these weapons are far more powerful than conventional munitions, with the added bonus of being far more compact and lighter. Thermobaric weaponry was first experimented with by Nazi Germany back in World War II. They tried using Nebelwerfers, rocket launchers on the Eastern Front, loaded with 5 rounds filled with propane gas, and with an additional one being a standard high explosive round. The idea was that the highly combustible gas would be released on impact, and it would create a dense cloud of explosive propane vapor. Then, moments later, the high explosive round would land, and the subsequent explosion would ignite the flammable mist. In reality, the propane would get diluted by the air far too rapidly, as well as coordinating the timing of the impact of the 2 types of rounds proved to be tricky. Also, any adverse weather conditions made the system near enough useless in combat conditions. And despite the theory being sound, as this simple method offered the potential for more powerful and lethal explosive munitions, little was done over the next 50 years to help evolve or refine this concept any further. By the beginning of the 21st century, there was renewed interest in thermobaric technology, particularly by both the United States and the Russian Federation. So, in 2001, the US introduced into service their next generation of thermobaric bombs, the BLU-118/B. These types of weapons are also called aerosol bombs, a vacuum bomb, or FAE, fuel-air explosives. The adoption of the BLU-118/B by the US Armed Forces was a controversial decision. Even though thermobaric weaponry aren't illegal under existing international law, many feel that due to their inhumane and cruel method of causing death and injury, that their use should be outlawed. This 2,000-pound bomb is packed with just 560 pounds of explosive, and is deceptively powerful. It uses the very latest generation of high-energy fuel explosive that is highly stable and therefore less prone to accidental detonation by things like enemy gunfire or unintentional explosions and fires. The BLU-118/B consists of a large fuel chamber that has 2 separate explosive charges. The first explodes on impact and is designed to shatter the container open, but not to ignite its contents. The special, advanced mixture of fuel inside is then scattered all around the outside in the form of a fine mist. Then, moments later, the bomb's second explosive charge goes off, this time igniting the now airborne fuel mixture, causing a huge fireball of incredible heat. This is now followed by an immensely powerful and massive blast wave. Along with all of this comes a powerful vacuum effect that sucks up all the oxygen from the surrounding area, feeding the fireball even further, as well as suffocating anyone unfortunate enough to be caught up in the local vicinity. This type of weapon is particularly lethal in confined areas, and is also capable of extending their effect into the most heavily fortified positions, as the pre-ignited fuel cloud can seep into an instance in any area that is not airtightly sealed. The effect of this bomb is that it is capable of vaporizing enemy troops, as well as ripping apart even the most heavily reinforced buildings, and causing a shockwave that will kill you up to 300 feet away, in a number of grim and gruesome ways, like rupturing its victims' lungs, or causing their eardrums and eyeballs to explode, or destroying a person's central nervous system. Though that is not to say that the system is without disadvantages, the major one being its sheer effectiveness, as it brings about total devastation over a wide area. And as it is often deployed in urban environments, there is always the very high risk of unintentional large-scale civilian casualties, as the weapon kills ruthlessly and indiscriminately. But it can still only be used effectively in fair weather conditions, as rain and strong wind dilute heavily the effectiveness of the airborne fuel mixture. And as it is so resilient on atmospheric oxygen, it is unsuitable for use against underwater targets or at high altitude. Importantly, the BLU-118/B was designed with a highly effective penetrative warhead with a 120 millisecond fuse. This makes it particularly useful against underground targets like caves, tunnels, and fortified bunkers. The bomb is capable of being dropped in freefall mode, or it can be attached with laser guidance delivery systems for precision bombing. And when required for deeper target penetration missions, it can be lengthened to having a 2-second detonation delay after impact. Technically, the BLU-118/B can be used by a wide variety of United States Navy and Air Force aircraft types. But normally the delivery platform used is either the F-35 Lightning II or the F-15E Strike Eagle. It is a derivative of the US BLU-109/B, a hardened penetration bomb which was already in use by the United States and several of its closest allies. It has proved particularly useful in Afghanistan against Al-Qaeda and Taliban fighters that were hiding in cave complexes that were proving near impenetrable to conventional bombing. Similar thermobaric weapons have been used recently by the Russian armed forces both in the Syrian conflict and during the invasion of Ukraine, where they deployed a TOS-1A thermobaric rocket launcher and is referred to by the Russian military as a heavy flamethrower unit. It's also thought that the Chinese have been developing thermobaric bombs, as well as grenades and rockets. And the British have recently admitted to using Hellfire missiles on its Reaper drones with metal-augmented charge warheads that contain a thermobaric explosive. Russians have even been using miniaturized thermobaric ordnance for a number of years in the form of the TBG-7V rocket-propelled grenade, weighing just 10 pounds and being fired from RPG-7s. But there are no confirmed reports about how successful these have been. And then in 2007, the Russians took thermobaric technology to a whole new level by testing the ATBIP aviation thermobaric bomb of increased power. This 7-ton airburst bomb had been nicknamed the father of all bombs, as it is claimed by the Russian military to have an explosive yield equivalent to 44 tons of TNT, with a blast radius of nearly 1,000 feet. If all of this were true, this would make the ATBIP the most powerful conventional bomb ever created. It would have a similar destructive power of a small tactical nuclear missile, but without the side effect of polluting the surrounding area with deadly nuclear fallout. Therefore, the Russian military says it plans to replace some of its smaller types of nuclear bombs with this new weapon. As of 2022, this does not yet seem to have happened. Tell us what you think about this vacuum bomb in the comment section below. Also, check out our video on US futuristic laser weapon.